What's up, Rogue? So, in Season 5, Barrage is looking really good with a brand new improved Windforce coming out into the game, adding a lot more stats to the build, and I'm glad that we can finally play Windforce. So, for starters, let's go over what are the brand new changes, and then let's go over the newer things that you're going to have to adjust for the gameplay. So, for starters, the newest change over here is really with Windforce. So the older Windforce had a bunch of stats that weren't really going to be utilized because you lost out on the ability to temper. And so you would not be able to cast like the chance for Barrage to cast 2 times. That's actually massive for all builds, but the old Windforce had a bunch of stats that were kind of outdated. The new Windforce gives you more movement speed, more ranks to Barrage, and chance for Barrage to cast multiple times. In addition to that, the unique power where it has the ability to do double damage, which is really good, well, it doesn't knock back the enemies anymore, which is really weird that it was even in there in the first place, because if anything, it should pull the enemies towards you, because Barrage, unlike Rapid Fire, does not just shoot in a straight line, it kind of fans out, and so you want to get really close to your enemies if you want all the shots to kind of register. But with Season 5, with Umbercrux, just like with every rogue build, this is going to be huge for the way that it works because you're going to be able to hit so many dang targets. In addition to that, there is a new node with Tricks of the Trade. You get a duration of bonus damage versus like your next hit. So how it used to work is your marksman skill or your cutthroat skill would then grant the next attack, but in Season 5, it just works the whole time. In addition to that, when you have your inner sight up, you're going to get a bunch more damage with that legendary node, but that one will probably be taken on most rogue builds anyways. In addition to that, just like the other classes, well, Crown of Lucian's very, very good, Lochran's Talisman's really good, and Ring of the Starless Skies. So all of this in combination with the brand new Umbercrux, unique, it's going to give you a lot of damage. One thing that is very powerful to note is with the brand new unique dagger, the Umbercrux, they did not mention any newer changes with this, so this is going to absolutely dominate for Rogue. And the reason why it's so good with Barrage is you are going to be placing down these totems when you activate a subterfuge skill, and there is one aspect called branching volleys that's going to increase the damage of the arrows that ricochet from Barrage, giving you a bonus amount of damage that will split into more arrows. Now, normally you would actually put this on your two-hander. You could run this in a two-hander, but then it would defeat the purpose of the brand new buffed Windforce, which is actually pretty good. But if you want to, maybe before you get the Lochran's Talisman, or if you just want to run it instead, that is another option, but that is a huge source of DPS that you're getting with the totems. So that's basically the newer changes in a nutshell here. But now that you guys understand that, I want to give you guys the build a little bit earlier so you guys will have it ready to go when Season 5 drops really soon. So for starters, the first skill over here, we have the Smoke Grenade. Smoke Grenade will allow us to get more damage, and it also will apply a daze so we get some extra crowd control so we can get some bonus damages here and there. Then Barrage is our main source of damage. Remember, if you have not played Barrage in a while, to get close to the enemies, that is one huge difference between this and Rapid Fire. Rapid Fire and Pen Shot can be played range, while Barrage is more like a melee play style in terms of how close you need to be if you are on the bosses. But if you're just shooting out in the like open world, or if you're just doing like speed pit like hundreds like I was doing in the gameplay, then you can shoot a little bit further away because these are going to start bouncing around like crazy, and it's great. But next skill we got Dark Shroud, so just more survivability. Then we've got Caltrops. And then if you want to run Concealment, that is another option as well. But there is one other multiplier, remember, when we use a Cutthroat skill. So you can run Shadow Step and Dash if you want to, or just Shadow Step as it's just much better to break crowd control. But for extra mobility, I felt like Dash was okay, but you can swap this for anything. You can run Concealment as well if you want another source of breaking crowd control. And then, of course, Inner Sight, because it's one of the best things in the game. So as far as our pieces of gear and aspects, let's go over that next. So Crown of Lucian, it's going to be in every single build going forward. Then we got to run the Umbrous aspect in the chest piece. We want ranks to Dark Shroud, that is a big bonus. Then we need our Cursed Touch somewhere, because without inflicting vulnerability, well, the Umbercrux is not nearly as good. So we want to make sure that we have the ability to inflict vulnerability, so you need a Cursed Touch. You could, in theory, run it on a ring if you did get it there, but for the most part, it's not anything super important. And as far as tempering on the ring, it's like kind of irrelevant anyways. But Cursed Touch, very, very, very good. Then Crowded Sage or any other defensive pair of pants is totally fine. And then Rakan's Wake to get your resistances pretty much capped. If you don't happen to have these, you do need to get some resistances, maybe in your chest piece instead of like max life or dex. Same thing with the pants. You need to get capped on resistances. This is just by a long shot the easiest way to max out. Plus, it gives you cooldown reduction. And then, of course, it's a Windforce build, so we can finally play with Windforce, which is exciting. Keep in mind, the builder websites won't have the brand new stats, because literally, we just got this confirmation literally yesterday as far as what is being changed. I don't know when these official patch notes will be coming out, but Windforce is going to be so much better. So keep in mind, it doesn't have these stats that shows up on the planner. Then we have the Lockhorn's Talisman, really good stuff, because we're going to be running Precision anyways, Ring of the Starless Skies. And then ideally, you want as much crit damage as possible. With this, I'll update this one. Some of the stats, because they've updated them on like the PTR as well as on some websites, it may like drop, like as in certain temperings, things are going to be changing. So I'll be updating it. So if you see anything missing, feel free to let me know in the comments. It's just what happens is when there's an update, some of the things get shifted down one. But basically, you just want to get a ring with crit strike chance. You can get attack speed. But crit strike damage is actually an important role over the dexterity. And then for the temperings, crit damage is important. And then the other one, it literally does not matter. I mean, if you want to play imbue on it, you can run an extra imbue. But I don't think you really need imbues. It's just a lot smoother just to spam. And that's what's great with Crown of Lucian as well as the Starless Skies. Then Umber Crux because it's really good. It's going to be in every single rogue build. And then also you want to run high velocity here. This makes it so Barrage will pierce. And that's going to be good because if you hit the totem, it's going to go through, and then it's going to hit the target again, and then it's still going to deal the damage to the totem. So that's why Barrage is really good going into the next season. It's because specifically Umbrecrux just goes crazy with this. A lot of rogue builds will be using this, pretty much every single one, and it's really great for Barrage. And if you want my personal opinion, is Barrage better or Rapid Fire? Rapid Fire, unfortunately, is still plagued with a bug. And I don't know why that skill has been bugged for so long. But there's another bug with Umbrecrux and with the Rapid Fire when you have the ring, where it causes it to explode. It doesn't actually explode on the ricochet, correct? So if that gets updated, perhaps in theory, both of them could be really great for bossing. But I found my experiences in terms of clear speed to be, by a long shot, way smoother with Barrage. It just has a faster animation because it just kind of shoots everything all at once. It kind of makes a little like clone and it shoots it for you. Whereas Rapid Fire, you're stuck in this long animation where you're just shooting out all these arrows. Where Barrage, I can shoot once, and move, and it just feels so much better. So if you want my personal opinion, I prefer Barrage over Rapid Fire, but just figured I'd mention that if Rapid Fire does get fixed with the explosions, yeah, it might be a little bit better, I'll be honest. But as far as how it feels, I mean, this is better as of right now. Keep in mind, Diablo, sometimes the best builds are based off of bugs, and if that does get fixed, because technically the ricochets off of the Rapid Fire should actually cause those things to explode with, of course, the ring. But again, that's a Scoundrel's Kiss ring. Anyways, gems, emerald, rubies, diamonds over here. And then as far as a skill tree, it's actually pretty much the exact same, except for instead of going Rapid Fire, we just get Barrage. So if you played that build, these are going to be very similar because it's a ranged rogue build. So yeah, Rapid Fire, just take that out and put it into Barrage. But the Paragon board is going to be a little bit different. As we are going to be changing and updating it. So we want the Shadow Step, and pretty much all rogue builds will be running Caltrops, Trick Attacks, get some extra Dodge, Smoke Grenade, Malice, Exploit, pretty much the things that you've already seen before. Second Wind's getting updated for Barrier in Season 5, so these may not match up perfectly. And then Adrenaline Rush and Haste over here. Now, as far as the Paragon board, I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit bigger for you guys so you guys can see it. So for the starter board, we're running Ranger because we are going to be using a bow. And then we're going to get Exploit, Weakness, Exploit. And then we get into combat. You need to pick up all of these bonuses to core skill damage, as there is an update for specifically this one over here. This gives you a bunch of bonus damage equal to your bonuses with core skills. So this is huge, and yeah, you definitely want to go ahead and grab this. And then, so after Exploit, and then you get this one, Cunning Stratagem. The reason why you want to put this one earlier is so you can reach the bonuses for all the core skill damage, because it doesn't roll on your gear anymore. You have to get core skill literally on the Paragon board. That's pretty much it, unless there's some like old legacy items. And then we have a Cheap Shot with Chip over here, and then we also want to take this node, and then with the other nodes, it doesn't really matter when you get them, because it doesn't really matter. You're not trying to get any of the yellows. They're not super important here. But later on is Instinct. At some point, grab that. I put it in for last. Then we're going to want Tricks of the Trade. Again, this is getting updated, so it lasts for 8 seconds versus your next skill. So this is a nice little buff. And then Deadly Ambush over here. We're going to pick up Deadly Ambush. And there's just one small note over here. If you get this one on the 6, you can hit the bonus on the strength, but it's really not that big of a deal. It's just that this is the newer boards that we're going to be running for Season 5 and going forward with Rogue. Pretty much most of the Rogue builds can actually run this exact same thing. Like, it's the same with the exception of some of the melee Rogue builds may not want to throw in a marksman skill, and I get that, so you can drop this if you are playing melee. But most of the Rogue builds will be very, very similar going into the next season because it's just a bunch of damage multipliers that you can just get really easily. So Rogue is looking really good. But anyways, that's going to go ahead and wrap up the build guide for the Barrage Windforce Rogue. And I think it is going to be probably the most fun build to play. We're going to have to wait and see what they actually do with Victimize. But at the moment, guys, I would say this is the top tier, like, actual Rogue build that everyone will be interested in because of the Umbercrux. It just plays a lot smoother than Rapid Fire. So I would say if I was to give you guys the best Rogue build, I would say that this is it. Now, I will say Andariel's is probably going to still be one of the top tier Rogue builds as well, but I'm counting that as kind of its own niche because that's an Andariel's build versus like an actual Rogue build. Hopefully that kind of makes sense, as that's more going to require, of course, the Uber Unique to get it actually running. But this is definitely one of the top tier Rogue builds that I think most people will actually enjoy playing. But that's going to wrap it up. I will leave in the pinned comment the link for the planner if you guys need it. But if you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. If you're new, hit subscribe, turn on the bell. So if anything does get updated with this, but as far as I'm aware of, I mean, we just got an update literally yesterday, and I don't know if they're going to be changing anything else, other than they mentioned that Crown of Lucia and Starless Skies Lockren's combo may get changed up a little bit. My guess is a slap on the wrist. Otherwise, we can just go back to Shaco. It's not really that big of a change, but I'll update you guys if things do change. But I want to get all of my guides out before Season 5 drops. That way, you guys can kind of choose which one you want to play. Anyways, if you guys want the other builds, you want to see the brand new like rapid fire updates with the Umbercrux, check that out as well. I'll leave those down below. But anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.